Well, school principals are overworked and a large proportion are being physically assaulted, according to a damning new study. It's not just by their students either. Sometimes it's the parents getting physical. Take a listen to Principal Annie Mears.
I have been shirt-fronted. I have been kicked, punched, spat on.
And we have parenting expert Claire Orange. Good afternoon to you, Claire.
Good afternoon, Tracy.
This is a very disturbing study. A survey of 5,000 principals has found 1 in 3 have physically been attacked and half of them have been threatened with violence.
I know, it's appalling statistics, and I think, you know, what we're really looking at is some attacks by students and some attacks by parents, the predominant being parents in this. And, you know, if we look to why that's happening, we are seeing an increase in parental anxiety in schools, and that's around the safety of children. We're seeing lots of images of children in very unsafe bullying-like situations in schools. But we're also seeing an increased focus on testing like NAPLAN and ATAR, and that gets every parent feeling very concerned for their child and their future. Now, it doesn't excuse the behaviour we're seeing, but certainly we are seeing that increase in anxiety in our schools.
Yes, so they're taking on that pressure and that anxiety that the kids are facing, I suppose, isn't it?
Absolutely. I mean, that's your most treasured asset, isn't it? So when your child feels threatened in any way, academically or safely, then you're going to see a change in behaviour in parents.
Let's talk about the principals, because the report also found there are unmanageable workloads and they're seeing a burnout.
The statistics were phenomenal. So they're saying more than 50% of our principals are working in excess of 54 hours a week, and half of those again are working in excess of 64 hours a week. Now that's an unmanageable workload really. However, our principals are under increasing demand in schools, so staffing shortages, staff with mental health issues, children with mental health issues, having to be there long hours around staff and parent meetings, board meetings. So we're seeing a really big change in the way that principals are having to apply themselves in their school context.
And also, I suppose they're also feeling that pressure because, as you mentioned, children are the golden assets for parents. So, you know, they're the ones guiding these kids through the years, through the school years.
Yep, and our schooling structure is changing around that too.
Yeah, those behind this data say that an education campaign should be laid out or rolled out for parents. What do you say to that?
Oh, in complete agreement, complete agreement. And I think really it would have to be a two-pronged approach if we were to look at it. One around settling those parent anxieties around the safety of their children. So we've got a statewide campaign that's running out in WA around bullying and bullying prevention in schools. It needs more visibility for parents to feel that they're sending their child somewhere they're going to be safe. We also need parents being able to acknowledge that NAPLAN, ATAR, all these big assessments are really just that. They're not defining their child's future. So we need some re-education about the importance of that testing for parents so that we settle down. And I think that there's also this process in our schools where we need this definite campaign around non-violence and that being unacceptable in schools and having a firm consequence. And that's possibly not as visible as it is in other places. Like if you go to emergency centres around medical, we have posters that say it won't be tolerated in those environments, and yet we're not seeing it in schools. So I think a lot of parental re-education to settle these behaviours that have to be eliminated.
And it's also a poor reflection on the kids as well, from seeing their parents behave that way.
Well, we're modelling every day. You know, we're going to get what we put into our children. So it is high time we stepped up and assisted our principals to feel safer in their schools.
Hopefully something can be done. All right, Claire Orange, thank you so much for your time.
Thanks, Tracy.
We'll see you next week.